Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de. Apparently, we pay for almost all of the streaming services, seriously. So now I feel qualified to quickly run through what we like and dislike about all of those. Yeah, XenPuck here. I guess partly because we're retired, but at this point, oh boy, we are or have been paying for almost all the streaming services that currently exists. I'm serious. Here's a list of services that we're currently paying for or have been just earlier this year. Okay, Netflix, Amazon Prime, CBS All Access, HBO Max, Disney, Hulu, ESPN, Discovery Plus, Google YouTube Premium, Apple TV Plus, Peacock Premium. I mean, wow, I really want to blame the pandemic for forcing my hand, but let's be honest, that'd be a lie. I just watch a lot of junky TV, okay? Still, that's 9 separate digital entertainment offerings, and it's starting to total like a little bit more than $100 a month, okay? I mean, technically, I think that's still cheaper than the cable subscription, but is this by much? I almost feel nostalgic for the days when all I paid for was Netflix, but alas, I don't think we're ever going to go back to that world, right? So today I figured I'd just talk about these services and a quick hot take on now that I've had them for a while, right? Definitely some for longer than others, though. I'll put them in buckets from least likely to keep to most likely to keep, but obviously everyone's different, so we'll be curious as to what your thoughts are, right? Comment, like, and subscribe, and share on that social media buzzwords or whatever. I'll be great regardless. Now, on to the blurbs. Okay, so I'm going to start with a bucket of services that for me are pretty much on the chopping block, and these are CBS All Access, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock Premium. Actually, spoiler alert, I actually already got rid of Peacock Premium. Okay? Seriously, we only paid for that one for the Olympics coverage, and guess what? Because of the pandemic, I feel like we got both Olympics covered, summer and winter, within about a 1 calendar year. It's kind of a rare historical circumstance, isn't it? But outside of the Olympics, I mean, Peacock, aka NBC, is just bad. I mean, even on their premium tiers, there are some shows with ads. So I'm thinking to myself, what the heck am I paying for, right? And the service is so new that its original shows are basically at a level where you can count them all with the number of fingers you have. And barely any of them are interesting. I think literally the only one that I had any interest in was the guy from Firefly playing a literal alien who makes human friends even though he was sent to Earth to kill everybody. Cool premise, but just for one show, it's not worth it, so we got rid of it after the Winter Olympics ended, right? Now, the next two on the chopping block are CBS All Access and Apple TV Plus. Now, these two share, I think, the same type of issue, which is that they both feel like one-trick ponies, right? Which is just their original shows, but they don't have that many. So if you like Star Trek for CBS, or for Apple Sci-Fi also, I think they have some good sci-fi offerings, and I do like the show Ted Lasso. But frankly, the other problem is CBS's backlog, probably one of the weaker ones out of all the major networks. And Apple TV, it doesn't even have any backlog at all, which means that if we can't find some episodes of new shows, the 1 or 2 new shows that we would watch, then we would immediately move on to one of the other juicier choices in terms of streaming, at least, okay? Now, the next bucket I'm going to call my on the fence list, but probably will keep, and they are HBO Max, Disney, Hulu, ESPN, and the Google YouTube Premium, right? First, I gotta talk about the one that's unlike the other two, which is the fact that my wifey pays for YouTube Premium, right? This is not their TV offering, just the one that gets rid of ads for YouTube clips. I still count this as streaming entertainment, even though they're not exactly real TV shows, right? But I think I'm being fair, because to me personally, if I have an hour to kill, I might watch a real show, or I might just watch a bunch of YouTube clips of various lengths, right? This one is on the fence only because I don't really have a problem with the ads at all. Like by myself in my office, I watch YouTube with ads. Doesn't really bother me. After all, both wifey and I made our money in the field of advertising. Well, she's still making money. I made my money. So maybe I just have a soft spot for it. Still, YouTube's variety cannot be understated. It's only that discovery of hidden gem part that's difficult. Hint, hint, like my channel. Anyway, now, HBO shines on new shows, have a great back catalog. Seriously, I could rewatch The Wire every year, right? Wire, Rome, Oz, all great shows. So it's not hard for me to find something old to rewatch. And they've got South Park, also a huge thing for me. I know my wifey really likes newer shows like Westworld, and personally, I'd probably watch any of the Game of Thrones spin-offs. My one complaint about HBO Max is simply that it lacks really high international exposure, right? You could tell they're really, HBO shows are just mostly made for Americans because none of them have like foreign subtitles or dubs, compared to some of the later, more solid streaming alternatives. Not that big of a deal, but I thought I'd point it out, right? And Disney, Hulu, ESPN, oh boy, this is a weird combination of strengths and weaknesses, right? Disney, I like it for the Star Wars shows and MCU shows, but otherwise, until we have kids, this is kind of a moot point. ESPN Plus is just total trash. I watch almost nothing on it. Its app is so poorly designed, I actually hate it, okay? It's only here because I pay for these three in a bundle. And Hulu is probably the reason we're gonna keep this, because wifey likes it because it has a very broad library. The version we pay for still has ads, but I don't think it's that bad, and frankly I'm surprised at the type of random movies that's also on the service. Plus, so basically I think for regular people who likes traditional TV, Hulu is a good choice. Now, finally, we're getting into the old standby bucket, or AKA, you know, the group that we're most likely to keep, and they are Netflix, Amazon Prime, Discovery, right? Now, of course, everybody knows Amazon Prime has the advantage of basically forcing us to stay in the ecosphere, since Prime isn't just video, right? Because we buy stuff via Amazon quite often. You know, one of us will be paying Prime forever, so we're gonna keep having Prime Video. I do actually enjoy the handful of Prime original shows like The Boys or Invincible and The Expanse, but the main issue I have with these is that there are not a lot of them. So, again, a handful is what we're talking about. So still, we're definitely gonna keep it. So I guess good for Amazon. They've suckered us in and they just won't let go. You know, good job, evil corporate overlord. Now, Discovery Plus is pretty much a newer, more acquired taste for me. We mostly watch it for 90 Day Fiancé and its myriad of spin-offs, and House Hunter, and it's like 30 years of backlog content. Good lord, there's a lot of reality shows on the service, right? And there's other types of reality shows that I have no interest in, but to be honest, just 90 Days Fiancé is enough to keep us paying for this one. It's pretty cheap, right? I'll add a silver lining, because I believe Discovery and HBO or Time Warner is about to merge, so I'm hoping that at least, you know, these two will become a single streaming service, at least saving me a little bit of complexity, right? But of course, last and not least, the OG service of them all, Netflix. I keep these mostly just because they're random, weird international shows they've been exposing me to. I mean, did I mention that almost all of the new Netflix offerings have dubs and subs in like 10 languages? I think that's actually quite amazing, especially when I'm trying to get used to listening to French. Like being able to listen to French while watching an anime is a really weird feeling, okay? The only other streaming service that remotely comes close is Disney Plus, and that's only for children's shows, right? Netflix over time, I feel like they've lost a lot of like the newer, more relevant movies, but they've gone in the direction of just spewing out tons of original content. But to its credit, its original stuff is fairly good, and it's been doing this now for long enough, and you know, there's enough content that its backlog of just original content over the last like 5 to 10 years is beefy. So yeah, we'll probably keep this one, but who knows? Netflix also likes to raise its price very quickly, so no one's 100% safe on this list, I guess. Now, at the end of the day, to be honest, I am a little embarrassed that I'm paying for this many streaming services. I kind of want to cut some just so that I can say, oh, I only pay for, you know, a handful rather than almost double digits, right? But I also want to try selling wifey on this concept of we could just cancel, let's say, half of these services, right? But then we could just pick a month out of the year to get these services and binge all their offerings from the previous year. This way, we won't have to pay for these things for 12 months out of the year, but only 1 month out of the year. I like this idea, especially because streaming services, for streaming service where their strength is original shows, right, not back content. So to me, Apple TV Plus, maybe Netflix, maybe HBO would be top candidates, right? We'll see how this pans out. I think it'd be fun to have a binge month per streaming service, and maybe even make those shows more special because of its artificially limited availability to us specifically. No? Anyway, which services do you have or want or think I would like? Let me know or whatever. Okay, cheers. I'll approach it.